And I just realized, there we go. So I've muted everybody else out, Kathy, so that you can come back on again. So first of all, hey everybody, welcome to the All Heat Team call. You have no idea what the backstory is. For those of you that are now watching this recording, backstory is always the fun part. I'm excited about this call tonight, and what we do with the Heat team is we ask the Heat NMDs if they can ask featured speakers to come on, and I was so excited when Sandy Abrams-Tabola said that she asked Kathy, and we're so excited to have Kathy here, and then Sandy couldn't be on tonight. So I am hosting, but I first want to thank Sandy for grabbing Kathy and having her be our featured speaker. That makes me so happy. And so this is Nikki Cotton. For those of you that don't know, this is a Heat sponsored Tuesday night call every night at 6 p.m. Chris and I have been with our company for 28 years and have had an amazing journey. Could not be more excited about what's going on now between incentives, between our team really rocking, between the whole company coming together with an amazingly beautiful, loving culture that we have. Yeah, and I love Lisa's. I just gotta keep watching Lisa because she does this. She's what's called a really good audience. If you want to know how to be a good audience, you just watch Lisa. So anyway, we're going to get this call started because I cannot wait to introduce Kathy to you. And you know, Kathy, we've met. You know, we've spent a little bit of time together, not a lot, but when I reread your bio, I kind of went, "Wow!" again. Like, wow, again. So first of all, she's a 100 Club. Kathy's a 100 Club. And she received the actual 24 Club of the Year award, but she was also nominated for the 12 Club and the 39 Club. So she's completed her graduate work at Texas Tech University. Basically, what I want to tell you is she is the coach of all coaches. So she's worked in the Center of Creator Leadership for Women. She's done executive coaching. She did a year-long program with Dr. John Townsend. She's been a facilitator for the Franklin Covey seminar entitled Great Leaders. And she's also the author of Courageous Women of Faith book series. So, oh my gosh, Kathy, we are so honored to have you on the call tonight. And she's known for doing, you know, leadership trainings for women, for students, for nonprofit organizations, and she's worked globally. What I think is really so wonderful now, Kathy, is that you're sitting on the board of the Pure Hope Foundation. And for those of you that don't know what that is, that's Catherine Lee is the one that had the vision to have the Pure Hope Foundation, which is to help women who have been I don't know how you say it, have been pulled into sex trafficking. And so it's now a home that they've created to help women who have escaped from that and really help them start a new life. And Kathy sits on that board. So Kathy, I know that you're going to talk about how gratitude, and I went to pull up the picture, gratitude and something help with motivation. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the title, right? So all I know is it's going to be a great call, and I'm going to spotlight you so everybody can really see you. And we're going to have our call tonight. And you look
You always have to kind of fix your hair when that happens, right?
Yeah, I know.
Well, hey, thanks, Nikki. I'm really thrilled to be on the call tonight. And when I did the Pajama Regional, I've had several people reach out to me and just say, hey, would you be on our team call? We just, you know, it'd be really cool to hear your story. And so I teased David Beavers a little bit because he closed out the Pajama Regional before I did. And he shared a little bit of my story. And so I kind of chuckle a little bit because you never know when your story is going to perhaps be something that really gets people's attention and perhaps can be used to encourage others. And so I thought I'd start the call off just telling you a little bit about my story and perhaps kind of why I was asked to be here, and then kind of share what we did to reach 100 Club. So a little bit about my story. I started in Juice Plus in 2001, and over the next 6 years, kind of as we all know, I almost wanted to draw it for you, but we all know that, you know, getting from a dealer to NMD is kind of going up the marketing plan. But what's so hilarious is you've probably seen this drawing a ton of times. It's not always a straight line, right? There's ups and downs, ups and downs, and ups and downs. But over the course of 6 years, through all the ups and downs, we did make it to NMD, which was just such a special time. And we were so grateful. My team was amazing, and we made it. Well, then a few years later, I began to start working, kind of had to step away from my Juice Plus business a little bit. But in my mind, I was maintaining. Have y'all ever, I don't know, you may have never thought that to yourself, that you might need to step away and you're going to maintain. And so I thought, oh, just to be a little bit, you know, it won't take long, you know. And so one day, David and Terry called me. And actually, when I called them back, they said, well, hey, thanks for calling us back, because it took me like a couple of months to call them back. And they just said, hey, we just want to check on you, kind of check your pulse, see what you're thinking on the whole Juice Plus thing. We haven't, heard from you a little bit. And I just said, well, I'm just maintaining. I'm really good right now in this season of life. I kind of have these other things going that I really need to pay attention to, but I love my Juice Plus and, all about it. And David we have a relationship. So he could say this to me. He goes, well, Kathy, I'm not sure if you've logged onto your virtual office lately, but I don't think you're maintaining. And I was like, what? And so sure enough, I'd gone from 24 Club to 7 Club. And yes, I was still getting a paycheck, but I wasn't maintaining. And so I don't know if any of you have ever had that happen. And it's not like super common, but sometimes you might actually go backwards a little bit. And so, or in my case, a lot. And so they what was so great about Terry and David, Terry Luongo and David Beavers, if you don't know them, they're wonderful. I'm so grateful to have them as my upline. Is, that phone call wasn't about, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. It was just, hey, where are you? What are you thinking? What's good for you? What do you want? And then followed up with several conversations with Terry of just, Kathy, it's really not about anything more than what do you want? We just don't want this to float away on you and you think you're maintaining and it just kind of floats away. We want it to be an intentional decision because that's really more of who you are. And Terry's just so gracious and so good at asking wonderful questions. And so I've learned so much from her and from David. And so basically this was like in January. And I told them, I said, you know what, I really do want to think about this and be very intentional about it. But I will tell you, I will be at conference. I told myself way early on when I first became a rep, I said, okay, I will never stop doing this business without going to one more conference. And I don't know why I told myself that or why I had that in my mind, but I just always did. And I think it's a really great rule of thumb because I did go to that conference and I actually went with pretty skeptical glasses on. I was like, they're going to have to really show me why this is worth my time and energy. There's lots of different things to do in life. There's lots of different ways to earn money. There's lots of different things to, give your time, talent, and treasure to. So why would I do Juice Plus? And so as conference, as many of you know, is amazing. And that happened to be the conference where they were adding the bonuses, the new bonuses and the restart program. And so of course I was in, even before that, I knew that this was a great product. It was a great culture. It was a great company, residual income. I wasn't going to have to trade time for money. I mean, it's really special what we have. And so I was in. But the reality was at that particular conference, I had 3 other team members who came. 2 loved the community, weren't doing just a ton, but we loved hanging out together and it was great. And then we had another person who actually could only be there part of the time because she had to get a voucher. She bartered a ticket on Southwest Airlines because she was a photographer. She had lots of little kids, but so she can only be there for part of the conference. And she had just gotten her free conference ticket making VF. And so I was like, and she was kind of deep down on my team, but she wanted to come. So I met her. Well, to make a long story short, that person who was only there for part of the conference, her name's Nicole Fletcher. And a year later, she was NMD. And right around the corner was this amazing journey and adventure that we went on so that she could stay home with her kids. And so the reason I'm telling you that background of my story is that I had several decisions to make in that spot where perhaps my business wasn't going exactly like I might want it to. I could have totally quit. And honestly, I still think Terry Luongo and David Beavers would be my friends today because that's the kind of people they are. They weren't in a relationship with me because of what I was doing for my business for them. It was because I was a human being and a person. Yet I'm so grateful that they reached out to me and they were just like, and I just want to encourage all of you, if you have people on your team who maybe haven't been to some events lately or haven't been showing up on team calls, reach out to them and just ask what they want. It's not about, as Catherine famously says, Catherine Lee, she says, we shouldn't be shooting on people. And make sure you understand what I said, right? Shooting. And so they didn't do that to me. And I think if they had, I don't know if I would have been that open. And so I literally thought it had only been a few months, even though it had been a lot longer. Because when you kind of step away, time just flies by. Have you ever had that where your eyes, you just blink and you're like, oh my word, 6 months just flew by. That felt like a month, And so I really didn't think it had been that long. And so I just want to encourage you, if you reach out to your team members, just give them a little bit of grace. It may not feel like they were gone that long. Find out what they want. Remind them why they loved it. Remind them why it was fun. And that's really what Terry and David did. They gave me space to make an intentional decision. They didn't put a timeline on me, like, as long as I told them, okay, I will be at conference and I will give you an answer, let me think about it. And I checked in with Terry a few times before conference. So how does someone who decides at conference to jump back in, how do you go from, you were at 24, then you go back to 7, and then you go to 100? Okay, how does that happen, So I do want to say that our journey from 7 Club back to 100 Club, it took about 7 years. So it wasn't like it was overnight, but I did make an intentional decision that I was in. I went back to the very beginning and I thought to myself, why did I start Juice Plus? What was life like before Juice Plus? And that was really helpful. It made me remember why I'm so grateful for this product. My daughter struggled with asthma and allergies. She'd been a really sick kid. And I was the mom that cried myself to sleep every night because I didn't know if she'd be able to breathe that night. We'd have to go to the emergency room. And we had tried everything, tons of drugs, tons of antibiotics. And this mom in 10 seconds just said, hey, Kathy, I don't know, but there's this product called Juice Plus that helped our family. Maybe it could help Maddie. You really might want to check it out. That 10 seconds changed everything. And I think I had forgotten what it felt like to have a sick kid. And so that kind of reminded me, okay, I want to share. So that's a no-brainer. And then I thought about it more and I thought, you remember when you decided to really jump in with the business, you realized there were people crying themselves to sleep every night because of money. It was marriages were breaking up. People were stressed out. They were not even able to really enjoy their family because the pressures of the finances were so much. And so I wanted to remember, Kathy, you have it really good. And you want to make sure you don't want to be selfish with that. You want to share that. That's who you are. That's one of my core values, is to share my blessings. And so I really got in that place and I got all about gratitude. Now, some people could have been really discouraged at going from 24 Club to 7 Club and just looked at what they lost. And I had my moments. I did have my moments where I was discouraged and I was like, whoa, I can't believe I thought I was maintaining. But you know what? There are a lot of people that would be really grateful to have a 7 Club. And my first goal with Juice Plus was to get my product covered, the cost of my product covered. Well, I still was doing that, and then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be really grateful that we found Juice Plus. And I'm so grateful for what it did for my daughter. And I'm really grateful for my team members that are still hanging in there. And because of the Restart program, I circled back to a lot of team members and said, hey, they've got this new program, kind of like we're doing now, right? With this new incentive, circling back around to people saying, hey, there's something new. You might want to jump back in. And so I circled back around and I probably talked to 100 people, no joke. And I had about 5 who responded. So I don't want to paint this picture that it was all rosy and easy and super simple. And I circled back around and everybody jumped back in, because a lot didn't. And it was okay. And I gave them just as much openness and asked the same questions of them. Hey, what do you want? And a lot of them said, you know what? I really do not want to jump back in. And I said, you know what? I'm just so glad you told me. Thanks for letting me know. I just didn't want to not check with you. But the 5 that wanted to, it was really interesting. They didn't do a whole lot at first because we were running so fast with Nicole Fletcher, helping her get to stay home with her kids, that was really pretty much all consuming. But what's so interesting about that is people saw Nicole have success, and it was right after the economic crisis, and there was just a lot of people struggling financially and just the whole global economy, basically. But people watched Nicole have success, and it gave people hope, and it was so fun again. It was so fun. And so I really did get to that place where I never in a million years, my goal was not 100 Club. My goal honestly wasn't even 24 Club. My first goal was just, hey, let's get this train turned around and maybe get to 12 Club. And what's really interesting is at that conference that I went to, I didn't have the same ribbons that I used to have. When you check in at conference, you get your name badge and you get some ribbons to stick on your name badge. And I had to really process that, because it can be kind of embarrassing. So every single conference, you may have people on your team, and you may be that person, that you're going to conference again, and maybe you haven't hit your goal again. You want to celebrate and you're super happy for your friends that have gotten the promotions and are getting their ribbons and all of that. And then here you are. What do you do with that? And so it's interesting. This whole journey has given me so much more maybe empathy and compassion of what goes on at conference. And I just want to encourage all of you that I haven't even met any of you, and I still feel this way because you're part of our Juice Plus family. I just want you to know, and this is the place that I got with my team, and I mean it. I am so grateful for every single one of you. And you may be someone who is simply a customer checking out what we do tonight on this call. You may be a 100 Club member. I don't care if you have 1 order or 1,000 orders. I don't care if you have a bunch of ribbons and titles after your name, or you're just beginning and you don't even know what dealer means. You all matter, because without all of us on this mission together, we wouldn't have success. It takes all of us. You all know people that we don't know. And even if you help one person, it is worth it. It is so worth it. And another interesting thing about my the woman who told me about Cheese Plus, is that she actually was a rep before, but she had quit. She was still a customer, but because some people had kind of given her a hard time, because sometimes people think this is kind of an unusual way to do business. There is maybe a little bit of social risk involved, because maybe your friends don't really understand what we do, or they think it's one of those deals, or whatever they think. She quit. She could have been my sponsor, and the 5% promotion PB bonus just on my business would have been a very nice paycheck for her. And I don't say that it was bad that she quit. Maybe it just wasn't a good fit for her. But I think she quit because some of her friends teased her a little bit, and she just felt uncomfortable. And I just want to encourage you that you matter. We need you. And if your friends don't understand, it's okay. You know, some of my friends that gave me a hard time, we just agree to disagree. Some of my closest, well, I won't say closest friends, but some of friends that I probably see several times a month, they have no idea I'm a 100 Club. They don't even know what that is. And it's not that I'm trying to hide it from them. It's just they don't really get it. And they're not interested. And it's okay. As crazy as that sounds, I really did get to a place where I'm okay with that. You know, they don't have to understand, but there are too many people out there that need our product and need our company and need our community and need that paycheck, that it's totally worth them not getting it, because there's so many people that do. And I just want you to hear me say, do not let someone steal this opportunity from you because they don't understand. Just give them grace to not understand and keep doing your thing. Don't let it cause you to quit or give up, because I almost was there. And I don't want you to miss out on what I would have missed out on if I had quit, because right around the corner were these amazing things. I mean, right around the corner, right around the corner. A year later, I had a NMD. 2 years later, we had NMDs busting out. They were leading me to other NMDs. Clubs were coming out of the woodwork. Now, granted, we were working hard and we were being very intentional, and we were sharing the message and sharing our mission and loving on people and just offering. Our job is to offer. Their job is to accept. Our job is not to convince. Our job is to offer, give you good information, connect you to a tool. Remember, when you share G's Plus or our business or this new incentive, you want to connect people to a tool to explain it, whether it be a 3-way call or whether it be a video, whether it be a document that explains it, because then it makes it about the tool that they're evaluating, not you. And so if they say no or they're not interested, it's because they didn't like the tool, not because they don't like you. And the psychology of that kind of helps you out a little bit. So that's just something I've learned along the way as well that kind of helped our team. We tried to be very thoughtful about what is someone's next step. And we tried to think through, how can we help them get to the next step? Maybe not get all the way to NMD overnight. And even with this new incentive, maybe it's not even, we're going to even get all the way to sales coordinator by March 1st. We're going to get you a few new customers by then. We're going to get you maybe 1 or 2 new team members and help them get on their way. Step by step by step. We really made it about step by step. We also really started thinking about jargon that we use. And so, for example, we'll say, well, we need so many points. We need this many points. We need this many points. Well, most of the people, especially if they're brand new, they have no clue what the points mean. And then we bust out that point sheet, which is super helpful to someone who may be a little seasoned in the business, or who loves numbers. But I have people on my team, I have NMDs on my team that still crack me up, and they laugh all the time about how they still don't get the numbers, but they're super successful and they figured it out, but they joke about how long it took them to figure it out. But we have this great sheet that it talks about all the points, but my goodness, it can be kind of overwhelming if you're brand new. And so we tried to keep things super simple. So we would text someone, we're like, hey, did you know that you only need 3 more trio orders and you get a $200 bonus. Who could we talk to? Do you think it might be worth calling a few people and touching base with a few people to go for this promotion by tomorrow? What do you think? Or by the next week, whatever the deadline was. We try to give them a little bit more notice than a day. but we wouldn't necessarily say, hey, you need 500 more points. We would just simply break it down directly to how many orders it would take. And that seemed to really help people move more quickly. So that was a huge thing that we started doing. Another thing we started doing is we started getting, doing some personal development. You know, I know for me personally, I had to really think through, okay, if I want my team to grow, I want to grow too. And Jennifer Myers did a beautiful job at the Pajama Regional talking about how sometimes, not always, but sometimes if we're kind of in a place where we're stuck, a really good thing to do is to think through what is something that I might could get better at personally, whether in my leadership, my communication, my relationships. Maybe if there's something I can grow personally in, it might help me be a little bit better, and it might perhaps help my team. And so that's when I did that program with John Townsend for a year. And they said it was a leadership coaching program. And I think it was a switch and bait. It was really more of a leadership counseling program. But I learned so much about resilience, about relationships, about blind spots I had. And it was really a game changer. And so I thought I might share, now that I've shared my story and kind of our journey, how we kind of turned things around, just a few little tips. I wanted to share a few more things that I did personally and tried to help my team do that I think helped us along the way. Now, nothing can take the place of just having a lot of good conversations. So I want to encourage you that we really started talking to ourselves. And I tried to remember, because this was also back when Facebook was first starting and they were challenging all of us to get team names. I didn't even have a team name when I made NMD. And so I was like, what name should I pick? What name should I pick? And what's so hilarious is I actually ended up picking Team Brave in honor of the mom who told me about it, because the place where she told me about Juice Plus was in front of the very people that kind of had teased her about it that led to her quitting. But I was crying, I was scared, and I think we call it, she had courageous compassion for me. So even though it was in front of those very people who had given her a hard time, she couldn't not tell me about it. And so we kind of had this huge courageous compassion campaign, and we were all about sharing, let's be courageous. So we named ourselves Team Brave. And now it's hilarious now that we have the Brave Leaders program with Brene Brown. It's just really funny how all this weaves together. I'm just cracking up. But that's why we called it Team Brave, because I will forever be grateful to that sweet, precious soul who took 10 seconds in front of people who gave her a hard time to tell me about that. I mean, it shifted everything. It helps Maddie's health. Now we're 100 Club, the financial blessings. Are you kidding me? So I just want to encourage you to have the courage to have a candid conversation with someone. Have courage to have that conversation. We all have a chicken list. What's holding us back from really sharing with people, caring about them enough to do them a favor and just let them offer it to them. It's their job to choose. It's our job to offer. So I want to tell you, be brave, be courageous. You're going to get knocked down. You know, you're going to get knocked down. I had all those people who I circled back around to that told me no. I still get told no. I mean, I still get told no. I'm a 100 Club member. I still get told no. I got a really hard no not too long ago. I was talking to a big wig at the university where I teach, and I was like, hey, I really think this might be something you're interested in. She goes, yeah, no thanks. I was like, well, I'm not really sure what clarifying question I need to ask after that. So she just wasn't interested, but that's okay. I asked. I got brave and I asked. And you know what happened? Today, out of the clear blue, someone I've been texting for like 6 months, just checking on them. They never respond. She goes, hey, I'm trying to order product on my own, and I want to make sure you get credit for it. My husband's finally drinking the shakes, and we're going to need some more orders. How do I do that? Okay, hello, crickets for 6 months, and all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, hey, by the way, that's what happens, guys. I'm telling you. I don't know, Nikki, if that happens to you too, but you'll be working, looking one direction, and maybe you're getting all these no's, and all of a sudden stuff's coming from left field. You're like, I didn't even talk to that person. How'd they know about it? But it just happens. So our job is to plant the seeds. The principle of the harvest, maybe you've heard of it. If you don't plant any seeds, we know for sure there's not going to be a harvest. That's something you know for sure. If you are not planting seeds, your business is not going to grow. Our mission can't expand. You know people we don't know. We need you. We need you. We need you to share our message and plant those seeds. We can't always predict when the harvest is coming, but I can tell you, if you are planting seeds, the harvest will come. It may not look exactly like we think. We may think we planted cotton and here comes wheat. I don't know. Maybe we planted a lot and we hope for a lot right away, but it may not. In fact, this whole sales coordinator incentive, I think, is remarkably wonderful. And even for people who don't get there by March 31st, all the seeds that we are planting, we are going to be eating off the harvest for a long, long time. Even if it's after March, we will still be reaping the harvest of this. So don't let your team members get discouraged if it's not coming as quickly as they want. And even if they happen to maybe not exactly hit it on March 31st, don't let them get too discouraged. Remember, resilience is we're going to keep going. We're going to get back up and we're going to keep going. And I just want to encourage you, keep planting those seeds. Get with your upline. Think of different ways to plant the seeds. Everybody's different. Some people might want to text. We text those videos like crazy. Some people prefer Facebook events. Some people like face-to-face. We have these wonderful recorded things, but we have these live Zoom events. We even took a page out of the Pajama Regionals book, and we had a Prevention Plus where the speaker was speaking, and our whole team all over the world was hosting people in their homes at the same time. We had people in Peru. We had some people in Canada. We had people all over the United States. And on a Sunday afternoon for 1 hour, we all got on Zoom together and listened to a speaker. And it was so fun. So it was a taste of community with a taste of convenience for the speaker. And how else were we going to do it? Where our whole team could be together for an event. And it was super easy. It was so simple. It was free. I mean, the different hosts in the different homes that they had people, they may have had food or snacks, but it wasn't like we had to rent out a venue for $250 and then hope we made our expenses and all of that. That's stuff you can do like tomorrow. It's so easy. So I would just encourage you to think creatively, have fun, make sure the fun factor's in there, because there's way too much seriousness in this world. And I think that's also what happened is when I really could get into gratitude and truly mean it, when I said I was grateful for what I had, really, and when I would catch myself getting into scarcity mode of what I lost, I would catch myself and I was like, nope, I'm not going there. I don't have time. I'm not going there. I have got so much. I'm in such a great place. My daughter's healthy. We still earn a paycheck. I've still got some people in it with me. We're good. And that kind of was contagious. And I think that's what gave us all the ability to keep moving forward. And so a couple of scenarios too. I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to give you 3 words real quick that I kind of use all the time in my daily life. And the first word is self-awareness. And so I try to catch myself. You might have heard me use that term. I try to catch myself if I go into scarcity mode, or I get into negativity, or I find myself telling myself a story that's not true. The person didn't call me back. Well, I'm a loser. I can't believe I'm a 100 Club member and I can't even get someone to call me back. Well, that's a silly story. They're busy. Have you tried to go to lunch with a friend lately? How many times do you have to go back and forth to land on a time? And then how often do you actually get to go at that first time you arranged? Hardly ever. And that's just going to lunch with a friend. So why do we make up stories that if it takes several times to connect with someone or to get them to respond, that we're losers? I'm probably the only one that does that. So I don't want to say we're all, but I'll just speak for myself. So we want to catch ourselves in these stories early so we don't get stuck in them too long, because there's too much to do. There are way too many people looking for what we have. Yeah, there are a lot of people that don't get it yet, but that's okay. They'll come. And if they don't, that's okay. It's funny. I actually had a friend who kind of gave me a hard time early on, and probably maybe 3 years later, we're at this baby shower and she walks up to me. She goes, okay, I'm ready. And I'm like, ready for what? And she goes, well, I think I want some Juice Plus. And I almost wanted to say, I'm sorry, you can't have it. Just kidding. I didn't say that. But isn't it funny how sometimes people can be so skeptical and maybe even harsh at how they tell us no, and give them a little time. They may swing back around. I've had quite a few people swing back around. I think they watched me. They're impressed that I've hung in there. I haven't jumped around a bunch of different companies, that, tons of stuff crosses my path all the time. but nothing has our label with science that shows what's on the label actually gets in your body and does good stuff. I'm telling you, nobody else really has that. I was even reminded the other day, there's a big, huge company that's a big competitor of ours, huge. They do not even do clinical research. They just have a scientific panel that picks that's what they brag about, is their scientific panel of like 8 people that decides what ingredients gets in their product. They do 0 clinical research. Yeah, they got a fancy label, but they have no idea if it gets absorbed. And this is like a well-respected company. I was like, so it just motivated me all over again. We've got an amazing product and a lot of people need to know about it, and we can do our part. So the self-awareness is important, and then get curious. That helps you get out of fear and judgment. When you get into fear, when you get into curiosity, it takes you to a different part of your brain where you get out of fear and judgment. You get into curiosity, it takes you to the positive, innovative part of your brain. So if you can get curious and ask yourself questions, you won't be judgmental or fearful. If you find yourself in that place, start asking yourself questions and get back into curiosity, and then that gets you in a better place mentally to want to move forward. You can kind of push through. And then the last thing is just discipline. You know, you kind of have to have a rhythm. You have to execute on what you want. You can't just wish it happened. You know, we've got a door that's broken in our bathroom, and I really do wish I could wish it to be fixed, because I don't really know how to get the screwdriver out. I don't have the tools on me, you know, or whatever. You've got to have the discipline to hit a rhythm, to consistently go after what you want. The default is not good. The default is less, scarcity. You know, you kind of fade away. You have to be intentional. You have to be disciplined. Wouldn't it be great if your alarm goes off in the morning and you have to force yourself to sleep in? You'd really rather get up early? Wouldn't it be great if broccoli and a cupcake are on a table? And I know most of you would pick broccoli anyway, but I'm just saying that most people have to be disciplined, right, to eat the vegetables. That's why we're in business, right? So just think about those 3 words and how they might play out as you do your daily life. And I'm 2 minutes over. Sorry, Nikki, but I hope this has been helpful, and I hope it's been encouraging. But I also want you to remember, always remember the good you're doing. It's very easy to get bogged down in the negatives, in the no's, and what you don't have. Always remember the good you're doing, because a lot of the people you're helping are in such a great place, they may not be saying thank you. They may not remember every day to say thank you for their health, but they are thankful. And I'm thankful that you're part of our G's Plus family. So thanks for letting me share some time with you guys tonight. And Nikki, I'll turn it back over to you.
Hey, Kathy, I don't know if you had a chance to see any of the comments that people were making, but they were really lovely about the even way in which you speak, around the kindness of your heart, the way you're really encouraging with grace. It was really sweet to see the comments coming in.
Wow, guys.
So, yeah, really sweet. So anyway, I took I got up in the middle to take a couple pages of notes, and one of the things that I think that I really, I love that phrase, courageous compassion, right? That's just a really powerful thought. We all talk about being compassionate, but sometimes it takes us a little courage to do that. It's not just being compassionate. And so I just really appreciated that. And really your point about, it was a big one. Everybody here matters. Whoever's lives you're touching has an opportunity to help every other person. It really, truly is the ripple effect. So we do need everybody to create those little ripples. So Kathy, thank you so much. It's the second time you've joined our HEAT team. There was many years ago, I think, where you blessed us, and it was a great call. So I will get this up and running. And again, we just thank you. And so what I'm going to do is I just want to make sure I unmute everybody. And please, would everybody just really give Kathy a HEAT warm thank you. So,
thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Great. Lots of notes. Thank you, Kathy.
Guys, have a great day. Go get 'em.